All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I want to do a kind of a cost comparison between the gas versus diesel full-size SUV and trucks offered by GM. So just to give you some reference point, what I'm basing this on is I currently own a 2022 GMC Yukon XL SLE trim with the 3.0 LM2 Duramax diesel engine. It's an inline 6 turbo diesel with the 10-speed transmission. This is also available in the Chevy line, for example, like the Tahoe and the Suburban. Also, all of the 1500 trucks, like the Silverado in different trim levels, as well as in the GMC line on the Sierras as well. So really, on the GM trucks, 1500 trucks and SUVs, you can get this diesel engine. So I want to go through the numbers and just kind of talk about, is it worth it to buy the diesel as far as the MPG is concerned? Because the diesel engine does get a lot better MPG. However, you are paying more for diesel. So I want to give you kind of a cost comparison breakdown. This is kind of based on some of the numbers that I'm seeing and based on my situation and extrapolated out over 100,000 miles. So let's get in. Let's talk about these. Numbers here. Okay, if you can see here on the left side, I got the gas numbers and the diesel numbers. Now, a couple things you have to consider when buying the diesel engine is the engine cost itself. On my GMC Yukon, it's a 2022, the cost to upgrade to the 3.0 diesel engine over the 3.5 gas was $995. So that's a cost consideration that we're going to include into the calculations, because that cost over here you don't have on the gas engine. Now, this is the comparison to the 5.3 V8, not the 6.2. The 6.2 is available on the higher trims. It's standard like on the Denali, for example. We're not taking that into consideration today because on mine's an SLE trim, and the only options are the 5.3 or the 3.0 diesel engine. So we're going to talk about how these numbers compare. One other thing you also have with the diesel engine is you have the diesel exhaust fluid. This is a fluid, usually comes in 2.5 gallon jugs. You can buy it at the auto parts store. You can even buy it at the pump. But I've calculated over 100,000 miles, I'm going to spend about $440 in diesel exhaust fluid. That's something you don't have on the gas vehicle, so therefore we don't have that expense here on the gas. Now let's talk about the miles per gallon. On the gas, we're going to talk about the highway rating. However, I think if we look at the combined and the city rating, there's still the same difference between the two. So, for example, the gas 5.3 this is on the full-size Yukon XL. 19 is the highway MPG. 26 is the diesel. This is the four-wheel drive version. Now, I'm putting 27 here is because I'm actually getting 26 to 30 MPG on the highway. And so I think 27 is kind of a lower estimate for this. Historically, whenever I bought a gas vehicle, the stated MPG range is usually at that or lower. It's usually hard to get the stated or the window sticker MPG. Usually you have to be going 60 miles an hour, no wind, no elevation. However, the diesel seems to get better than advertised, and that's rare, and that's one thing to consider. So I am considering a 7 MPG difference in my calculation here. Let's talk about the fuel cost here. So gas, this is in November of 2022. This is going to vary. This can vary significantly. When I bought this vehicle in March of 2022, the difference was a lot less. And so it just depends on where you live, time of year, and what the local economic event is that's happening, or what the oil prices are. Cost per gallon for regular unleaded in my area is $4.14. That's right now in November of 2022. Cost for diesel, average price is $5.09, so we have a 95-cent difference between the two. That seems to be on the high side. I've seen, like earlier this year, it was maybe 40-cent difference. So it could be probably, 30 cents to $1 difference depending on your area. So we're going to base it on 95 cents. That's going to be that's probably a higher estimate. But for this purpose, we want to see what the cost is to go 100,000 miles on the diesel or the gas. So the gallons consumed, so basically it's the MPG divided by 100,000 miles, how many gallons of gas or diesel we're using. Obviously the diesel is going to use 37, you're going to use less. 3,704 gallons, 5,263 are going to be the gallons used on the gas engine. So if we times that out by the cost per gallon on the gas, we get $21,788 to drive 100,000 miles. This is just fuel cost. In the Yukon with the diesel engine, it's going to be $18,853 So that's a big that's a decent difference there. But we have to consider the diesel exhaust fluid and the cost of the engine for this calculation. So we come up with $20,288 versus $21,788, $1,500 difference. So $15 to the positive side on the diesel. So that means if you get the diesel engine, you could save about $1,500 in fuel costs over 100,000 miles with the diesel engine. Now that's actually not as much as I was thinking it would have been. Now for the next 100,000 miles, for the next 200,000, so let's say from 100,000 miles to 200,000 miles, we wouldn't have to calculate the cost of the engine. We've already calculated that in the first 100,000 miles. So buying the diesel engine or upgrading to that is going to be a one-time expense. We would just consider the diesel exhaust fluid and then the cost of the diesel fuel. So this could be about $1,000 less for the next 100,000 miles. Now, $1,500 isn't a ton over, isn't that huge of a difference over 100,000 miles. Now, this number here, the $723 per MPG, is actually, if we were to use 26 instead of 27 MPG on the diesel, so if we lowered it by amount, it would increase this amount by 723. So these numbers would get even closer. Now, if it was more, if we got an average of 20, if we got 28 versus 19, if we got another MPG, this would go down by $723. So it's $723 per mile per gallon difference on these cars. So we could change this to 20 and this to 26. That would be a 2 MPG. That would basically almost break even. That'd be the same on both. So if you got 20 on the gas and 26 here, 2 MPG difference, that would eat up our savings right here. So if that happens, it's almost kind of a break even. So there's not a huge difference in the cost of usage on the diesel versus the gas. Now that we've talked about the MPG difference, and we talked about there's not a huge difference, I want to talk about some of the advantages of the diesel. These are the reasons why I bought the diesel engine instead of the gas. So you can make a case for or against all of these, but these are some of the reasons why I went. So reliability, generally speaking, GM has a very reliable Duramax engine. So I thought that the reliability-wise, probably going to outshine the V8 gas engine. Also, longevity. Diesel engines just in generally have more longevity than a gas engine. So those two things, and the big one being resale value. Now, whenever I look at a vehicle, I always look at the resale ability, because it just seems like recently, over the last 5 to 7 years, I just haven't kept my vehicles that long. If I keep a vehicle 2 years, that's kind of like a milestone for me. So I'm probably not going to keep this vehicle to 100,000 miles, and so I really want to think about, well, resale, which one's going to be the most have the highest resale value? And even though I'm paying $995 more for the diesel engine, I think I'm going to get more than that out of the vehicle when it comes resale time over the gas engine. In my area, it seems like it's hard to get these diesel engines. They come at more of a premium. They're rarer options. And so that reason is one of the reasons why I got that. So resale is going to be higher. Towing, the diesel engine is going to have better towing, especially because it has almost has 100 pound-feet of torque more than the gas V8 engine. So towing, that low-down torque that you have with the diesel engine, and with it getting better mileage, I'm going to have a better range out of my fuel tank when towing with the diesel than I am with the gas engine. And then finally, so I live at elevation. I live at 4,200 feet of elevation, so I don't live at sea level or anywhere close. And so the turbo on the diesel engine is going to give me more efficiency at higher elevation than it is the gas engine. The gas engine is going to lose power and MPG at the elevation I live at, just because the air's thinner. It's got to work harder to be able to get the same output. So I think the MPG difference could be a little bit better for the diesel engine at elevation. So having that turbo helping out with the performance, I think is going to be a big benefit. So anyways, guys, these are some things to consider when ordering or looking at a half-ton GM vehicle, the diesel versus the gas. I think the diesel does have some advantages to it. Over time, I guess we'll see how it goes. I've only had the vehicle. I only have about 8,000 miles on the vehicle, so haven't had any reliability or longevity issues. But the MPG has been actually above what was been stated on the window sticker, so I can attest to that I'm getting better MPG than I thought I was, which that usually never happens with a gas vehicle. And then these other features of a diesel engine, I think, kind of outweigh the gas engine. So anyways, guys, well, leave your comments down below. I'm curious to see what your thoughts are about diesel versus gas. Is it worth it? Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel. We'll see you in the next one. Thanks.